There is a bit of logic to this. Giant swappers like that tend to float a bit, which is why creek crossings can be dangerous. If you float a bit, you may not be able to counter the current. He needed to stop digging himself in deeper and use one of a million different ways to get out of those holes. I was stuck. Jeep when it gets hot my top comes off vintage shirt for a date skiing. And my 92 Accord became Jeep when it gets hot my top comes off vintage shirt. Tank top, V-neck, ladies tee for men and women. Tank top, V-neck. From that Ray Mears show? If it is the one, I am thinking of them. I also left their name with a local hostel before going out. But a change in shifts meant that no one detected they were missing. Even though they had their name down and hadn't returned, they also had enough water in a tank nearby so they could have stayed put for a few days. I think 30 is possible without food? And been okay. A big point he made is hiring companies are not telling tourists what to do in these situations, and Jeep when it gets hot my top comes off vintage shirt. They kind of sounded Chinese. And having lived 5 years in China, this describes the new rich Chinese exactly. Especially when it comes to cars. I'm not kidding when I say my neighbor had a Lamborghini that he parked outside of the time because his garage was filled with shelves of women's shoes for some reason. We lived in villas, not apartments. Every once in a while our morning commutes coincided, and the guy just didn't know how to drive. You don't drive 35 kilometers per hour in an 80 zone to protect your car. This is more likely to damage it. Official Jeep when it gets hot my top comes off vintage sweatshirt. Hoodie, sweatshirt, hoodie. I took a lot of long bike rides out to the rural countryside. Unfortunately, so did the driver's education schools. I wonder if I could have made a fortune teaching Chinese how to really drive. I own a Jeep. Off-roading is not something you can do off the bat. You need to be able to protect your vehicle and yourself. It depends on the driver's skills. That being said, Jeep when it gets hot my top comes off vintage shirt. Also, while driving on sand, you have to bring your tire pressure down to 10 to 11 psi. It flattens the tires some more, providing more surface for friction. When deeply stuck like this, the best method of getting out is to dig sand out under the tires to make the slope out more gentle. Then, if wood under the wheels. And again, if possible, get someone to pull you out from here. Try to never spin the tires. Unless you're doing a donut or something. There's no bottom, so your goal is to stay on top of the soft sand. If you start spinning the tires and feel them sinking, just stop. Other products.